Montgomery Clyde is an explorer who documents his journey to darkest Peru. He comes across a rather intelligent bear species. Despite his attempts to take one in, he decides to bond with them and discovers that they can talk and have a voracious appetite for marmalade. Clyde claims to have learned a great deal from the bears and wonders if the bears have learned anything from him. Years later, a young bear awakens to discover that the marmalade fruits have ripened. He runs excitedly to his Aunt Lucy and Uncle Pastuzo, the same bears Clyde met. The bears gather the fruits to make marmalade for their sandwiches. An earthquake strikes the forest that night, destroying the bears' home. Lucy and the little bear take cover. When they wake up the next morning, their home has been destroyed, and Pastuzo has gone missing. His hat is all that remains. Lucy transports the little bear to a ship and places him on a lifeboat stocked with marmalade. She is going to stay at a retirement home for bears while she finds a home for the little one. The bear consumes all of the marmalades until he arrives at a London train station. He tries to find a place to live from anyone who passes by, but they all ignore him. When the Browns walk by, he is sitting alone with some birds, sharing his marmalade sandwich. The mother, Mary, notices the bear and falls in love with him right away, while her husband, Henry, is less than thrilled. Their son Jonathan enjoys the bear as well, while his sister Judy is less enthusiastic. They feed him, and Mary decides to name him Paddington. The Browns take Paddington home where they live with a relative named Mrs. Bird, only for the night until they turn him into the authorities. Paddington goes to the bathroom and cleans his ears with 2 toothbrushes, removing large chunks of earwax. He licks one chunk out of curiosity, only to be disgusted. He snatches a bottle of mouthwash and sips it. The alcohol burns his throat, so he dunks his head in the toilet to cool off. Paddington gets his head stuck in the toilet bowl, causing it to overflow. He pulls himself out of the tub and turns on the shower. This causes a flood that floods the bathroom. When Henry opens the door, he is caught in a wave of water. Jonathan thinks it's pretty cool. A monkey is delivered to Millicent, the director of the Natural History Museum. When the man delivering the monkey informs her that he noticed sticky marmalade footprints around the boat, she has sinister plans for the primate. Millicent's eyes widen as she realizes what this means and what the man is talking about. She takes a knife and throws it at a picture of Montgomery Clyde and the bears on the wall, as well as a collage of other articles and pictures related to this expedition. Paddington learns a lot about the Browns during his stay. Henry is a real estate agent, Mary is an artist, Judy is seeing a boy named Tony and is learning Chinese to run away with him, and Jonathan wants to be an astronaut. Paddington's hat catches Mary's attention. She claims to know someone who works at an antique shop and may be able to find out who owned the hat. Mary transports Paddington to Mr. Gruber's shop. While he is looking at the hat, a pickpocket enters and steals the wallet of another customer. He drops it on his way out. Paddington grabs it and runs after him, thinking it's the man's wallet. The thief flees, but Paddington continues to pursue him. He even dons a police hat and rides with a skateboard and an umbrella to apprehend the thief in front of townspeople and schoolchildren. The wind lifts the umbrella, allowing Paddington to land on the thief and spill many of the wallets he's stolen. The thief is apprehended by the police, and Paddington is lauded as a hero, even though he is still unaware that he has apprehended a thief. When he returns to the antique shop, the other customers congratulate him on finding their stolen wallets. Mr. Gruber then informs Paddington that the hat belonged to an explorers guild, which is one clue to determining the identity of the explorer. Henry reluctantly follows Paddington to the guild's offices, where the secretary informs them that there are no records of any expeditions to Peru. Paddington then disguises Henry as a maid so that they can sneak into the computer room and search the archives. They discover that there were a few records on Peru that were destroyed. Paddington then jams the message delivery system by accident with marmalade, forcing him and Henry to flee. Millicent pursues Paddington further. She even gets assistance from the Browns' grumpy neighbor Mr. Curry, who is madly in love with Millicent. The kids begin to bond with Paddington at home. He encourages Judy to be more open with him and begins teaching her bear language. He assists Jonathan in building things out of his father's old toys. Paddington is also bathed by the children, after which he shakes off all the water and looks puffy and silly. The parents notice how much the kids enjoy Paddington and are considering keeping him around for a longer period. While the Browns are away, Paddington is left at home alone. Millicent discovers the apartment and attempts to enter and sees him. Paddington notices her and, with her gas mask on, misidentifies her as an elephant and flees. During the struggle, they unintentionally set fire to the oven. Millicent manages to flee before anyone notices. When the Browns return, Henry is furious with Paddington and decides he must leave. As he decides to track down Montgomery Clyde on his own, Paddington leaves a note for the Browns apologizing for the trouble he's caused. The Browns discover the note, and everyone blames Henry for driving Paddington away. Mary considers him to be the best thing that ever happened to her family. The bear searches the entire town for people named Montgomery Clyde without success. At his final stop, he hears a woman say Clyde is her father. Paddington enters the house, only to discover Millicent's voice. Paddington is kidnapped and thrown into her taxidermy van. Mr. Curry notices this and learns about her true intentions. She also turns down his romantic advances and departs. Mr. Curry then calls the Browns to inform them that Paddington is in danger. Millicent takes Paddington to the museum, where she reveals that she is Clyde's daughter. He was disgraced and expelled from the guild for failing to bring the bears back from Peru. He started a petting zoo, but Millicent now wants to finish what her father left unfinished. As the Browns and Mrs. Bird arrive at the museum, she prepares to stuff Paddington. They enter through the sewers and turn off the power while Mrs. Bird plays a drinking game with the security guard. Henry heroically climbs out the window, finds Paddington's room and tries to help him escape. Millicent, however, turns the power back on and notices the family's wet footprints, realizing she is being sabotaged. Paddington is forced to scale the roof via the furnace, just as Millicent turns it on. He climbs up with small vacuums until the batteries run out. He is about to fall to his death when the Browns catch him and pull him up. Millicent reaches the roof and confronts the Browns. When Paddington notices a flock of birds nearby, she points a tranquilizing gun at him. He pulls out a marmalade sandwich and tosses it into the air, allowing the birds to circle Millicent and subdue her. Mrs. Bird then opens a door and pushes Millicent off the roof, though she manages to grab onto a flagpole. Paddington is taken home by the family. Paddington writes another letter to Aunt Lucy, informing her of the latest events. Millicent was fired as museum director and forced to do community service at her father's petting zoo. A cheeky monkey is seen dropping a pile of poo on her. The Browns are doing much better now that they have officially adopted Paddington as a member of their family. He tells Lucy that he now has a place to live. Paddington then goes outside with the Browns for a snowball fight. Like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to see more video like this. Thanks for watching.